What is up, everybody? It is I, Ronin. Today I'm coming at you with making a freaking MEGACLOPS. Yeah, I was playing with a buddy of mine, HexDL, a little bit, and he was doing some zoodiac things, and I remembered with Master Rule 5, they can actually make MEGACLOPS now, and I like to make MEGACLOPS, so I decided to make zoodiac that just makes MEGACLOPS. That's all the deck does. It makes Xyz monsters, and it makes MEGACLOPS. So let's go over MEGACLOPS first. So MEGACLOPS is a link-free machine, Earth attribute, decent arrows, requires free Xyz monsters, and is unaffected by other monsters' effects, except those of Xyz monsters, and it cannot be destroyed by battle, except with Xyz monsters. And once per turn, it lets you target an Xyz monster in your grave and one card your opponent controls. You special summon the monster from your grave, and if you do, you attach the targeted opponent's card to it as Xyz material. Also, the rest of this turn, any damage your opponent takes is halved. This is a hard once per turn. So yeah, this is a really cool card, and it basically just wins unless your opponent has a Xyz monster, which a lot of people do, to be fair, but it's a kind of fun and janky card to build deck around, and I love it. Beyond that, though, we just have some of the classic Zoodiac monsters. We have Hammer Kong as a Xyz monster to go into. That same thing applies to Borbo. Tiger Mortar, somewhat similar. The only one we super care about is Chalkanine. So what Chalkanine does is it lets you detach a Xyz material from itself in order to revive a Xyz material from the graveyard. Well, not revive a Xyz material, attach a monster from the graveyard that is a Zoodiac. So what you do is you summon a Zoodiac, it can be any Zoodiac, and because of their abilities, you can do the one card Xyz summon. Then you summon Chalkanine over that one, detach the Xyz monster, bring Chalkanine back, and from there you hopefully have a way to get another thing on board. We do run free Barrage for that purpose, as well as stuff like Tensu for additional normal summons. So it's pretty alright. Tiger Mortar also has a cool effect where you kind of want to revive it with MEGACLOPS because it has the ability to trade overlay materials that are on itself, so you can detach, get a bigger Tiger Mortar pretty much. We also have a Utopia double OTK for those sick memes, and Emerald for a little bit more recovery, because this deck can use it. And I did go over the extra deck first, because it's kind of the most important part of this deck. But real fast, let's go and go over the main deck. For our monster lineup, we have free Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear for possible searching of our fire formations, as well as spot removal in a pinch. Furrow Blade, it's a Zoodiac, and when it's normal summoned, you can drop a Zoodiac card to draw another. Whiptail attaches itself to a monster from hand. Cataroost negates monster effects that targets Xyz monsters. Bunny Blast does the same thing, except with spells and traps. Ram floats and negates traps. And Rat Pierre sends monsters to the graveyard. We also have Ash Blossom, which is just a hand trap. It's pretty good. Free Pot of Desires, because most everything is ran at free, and any of our garnets are ran at 2, so we're not super worried about banishing. Upstart Goblin for consistency. You're not OTKing with this deck, so it's not a huge deal. The 2020 revision, so you can actually use it. Called by the Grave, because this deck does rely on a good bit of searching. 2 Double or Nothing, because, well, we're playing Pot of Desires as well for the draw power. We don't want to lose out on that Utopia double OTK. Free Tensu for that additional normal summon. Free Zoodiac Barrage, because it can pop our continuous spell traps and such when we're done with them, so we don't need to worry about it so much, as well as puts another Zoodiac on board from deck. And Tenki, because it searches level 4 or lower Beast Warriors, which is all the Zoodiacs. Yeah, so it's a pretty simple strategy, honestly. You just make Zoodiac rank 4s till you can't anymore, and then you make MEGACLOPS. However, we do have a few side deck options for specific matchups. We have Boral Sword and Boral Load in case we ever just want to put big damage or stealing on board, because this deck is fairly good at pumping out monsters. Free Gamma Seal for that kaiju goodness. Free Lightning Storm in case we want to go second. Free Twin Twisters in case we really want to go first, I guess. Free Storming Mirror Force because it's a meme thing and it's very fun to use. And 1 red reboot in case of traps. So yeah, like I said, basic strategy of the deck is just find a way to get free Xyz monsters on board and make MEGACLOPS. It can be made with a fair bit of consistency, and the only real problem comes when you have to ask the question, does your opponent have a Xyz monster? Most of the time that answer is yes, but it's still very fun to make. But yeah, you're going to see this deck in action in a second here. If you're new here, we just go over a couple replays. I show you what the deck does well, what it doesn't do so well, things I liked, things I didn't like, so on and so forth. And yeah, all that being said, I will see you all in the first replay. Alright, one of the first replay was 77-88-8. I think that's like a porn thing. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that's like a porn thing. And yeah, our opponent is playing a Blue Eyes deck, and they have opened, this is not a good opening. I don't think this is a good opening. But we have opened pretty decently, and we are going first, as you hope to do with this deck. But yeah, let's go right into the replay. So we both agree to the rules, and we can do 2020 shenanigans. So first we activate Tent Key to search the Rat Pierre, activate Barrage, summon Rat Pierre to send something from deck. We are unfortunately going to get ashed, which sucks, but thankfully that does not stop our plays, because thankfully that just means our Barrage can go off by popping the Tent Key. And we summon Furrowblade. With Furrowblade's ability, we are going to drop the Whiptail in order to draw a card. We get a Ash Blossom, which is pretty good. Now we go ahead and activate our Upstart for the Tensu, which helps us out a lot. Then we're going to go ahead and make Hammer Kong, make Chakanine, detach Hammer Kong for Chakanine's effect, summon Hammer Kong. Unfortunately, that means we are going to get popped, but we do get our Hammer Kong still. We make Borbo, activate Tensu for the additional normal summon the Bunny Blast, make Tiger Mortar, and then we make MEGACLOPS and pass it up. And that's pretty much what the deck does. So at this point, you have to ask your opponent, do you have a Xyz monster, my dude? Because if they have a Xyz monster, and they can make it, then this deck struggles. However, he did not open very well, so he was just going to make the Link Rebo pass, hopefully getting a summon off of the White Stone of Ancients. We are going to Ash it, so we're pretty good. Then it's our turn, so we're going to draw. We do get a Barrage. We are, however, first going to use MEGACLOPS effect to revive Tiger Mortar, putting the Link Rebo under it. Then we are going to trade for the Furrowblade. Then we activate Barrage, popping Tensu to get a Furrowblade from the deck, dropping Barrage to draw another card. However, from there, our opponent is just going to quit. So yeah, that's kind of the deck doing its absolute best. It can play through a few things, for sure. And again, it really comes down to, does your opponent have a Xyz monster they can make? But yeah, then we're going to see what happens when they can make that Xyz monster in the next replay. I'll see you guys there. Alright, welcome to the second replay with Player. He is playing a weird, like, Danger invoked Blue Eyes thing. We are going first again, and we have once again opened pretty well with our hand. However, we agreed to the rules, and we're going to get right into it. So we go ahead and summon Rat Pierre to send the Ram, activate Barrage pop itself to summon Bunny Blast. Then we go into Hammer Kong, make Chakanine for Hammer Kong, go into Tiger Mortar, go into the Clops. And so, you know, that's basically the turn 1 play that this deck is designed for, which is, it's not as bad as it might seem. But yeah, so now we are on to our opponent, who is going to start going off. We go ahead and stop the search for the invocation. It's going to use the Melody of Summoning Dragon to get Blue Eyes stuff, and he's just going to start sort of going off. He drawed pretty decently off of the Meltdown, unfortunately, though he could still make a rank 8 at this point, so it doesn't matter much. So he's going to make that ding dang ding Girasu pop our MEGACLOPS because, well, he can because that's a Xyz monster and MEGACLOPS is affected. Then he's going to go into Infinity, and from there it's pretty much just an OTK. So, again, this is a gimmick deck, it's very fun, but it straight up loses to Xyz monster removal. There are a few other replays where this happens. However, we usually only do 2 replays, so we don't really need to go into it. So, I don't know if this is a good deck. It's a situational deck. Like I said, it has a weakness, and that weakness is any Xyz monster. Infinity outs it, Ding Dang Ding Girasu outs it, crashing into it with Hope Harbinger outs it. There's a lot of ways that this loses, is kind of the point. But yeah, no, it's a kind of fun and neat gimmicky deck, a quick little fun thing for us to do, and you can mess around with it if you want. And just enjoy yourself. But yeah, all that being said, that'll be the video. Let me know what you think of the deck. Do you think it's kind of fun, gimmicky thing, or is there a way that this could become a more serious contender? But yeah, all that being said, like if you liked, comment if you had something to say, and subscribe if you want some more. This has been Ronin, signing off.